A husband, a father, a son, but most known to us as a ruthless American outlaw and a wanted criminal. This man is John Wesley Hardin. Born May 26, 1853 in Bonham, Fannin County, Texas, John Wesley Hardin grew up a rebel because the justice of the Southern cause was taught to him in his youth. The Southern cause in the Civil War fought to keep slavery. Hardin's father, James G. Hardin, was forced to fight in the war between the states in 1861. He organized a company to fight for Southern rights. From the start, John Wesley Hardin was against the people of the black race and he was anti-Yankee, meaning he was against Americans and their beliefs. In 1867, Wesley had a near-fatal fight with a boy at his school by the name of Charles Slaughter. Slaughter wanted to be leader of all the boys at his school and Hardin stood in his way. Hardin proved himself innocent of a false accusation put on him by Charles, and this caused Charles to pull up a knife in front of John Wesley Hardin after school. Hardin stabbed Charles in the back and chest before anything was done to himself. Slaughter survived, but after this incident, some wanted to expel Hardin, and others wanted to hang him. At the age of 15, Hardin killed his first man, who was an ex-slave by the name of Mage. Mage belonged to Hardin's uncle, and one day when he was at his uncle's house, John and his cousin challenged Mage to a wrestling match. They defeated the slave, and after this, Mage threatened Hardin. The next morning, the two crossed paths, and John Wesley Hardin shot Mage after being struck by him. Unfortunately, Mage did not survive. He was forced to go into hiding, and ever since, he began to lead a life of things such as drinking, dueling, gunslinging, and gambling. Hardin wanted to become a cowboy, so he began to drive cattle to shipping points. A few years later, Wesley went into partnership with his cousin's husband, John Collins, in pony races and gambling. Between the years of 1868 and 1877, John Wesley Hardin was estimated to have killed 21 men in gun duels and ambushes. He was even acquaintances with the infamous desperado, Frank Polk. One day, after getting into a violent fight with Jim Bradley, Hamp Davis, and Judge Moore in a poker game, most of the country turned on Hardin and were out to get him since his whereabouts had been discovered. When Hardin was fleeing from Texas, he was caught in Pensacola, located in northwestern Florida, and he was forced to return for trial in September 1877 to Austin on account of various murder charges, including those of 8 Union soldiers and 4 black policemen who had been hunting him down. His punishment for running away from his many murder charges was hard labor for 25 years in the Huntsville State Prison. While serving his sentence, Hardin wrote his autobiography called The Life of John Wesley Hardin as written by himself, and he also studied law. When he was released in 1892 to live with his 3 children without his wife who had died, he worked as an attorney and was unsuccessful in trying to win political office. Eventually, he went back to his old lifestyle and got married again to Carolyn Jane Lewis, abandoned her, and left to El Paso, which at the time was a violent place, and he began to lead a life of robbery and theft. On August 19, 1895, Wesley was shot in the back of his head at the bar of Acme Saloon by John Silman, who was an El Paso policeman, after having a feud with him. Silman had outlawed guns in the city to make the town a little less dangerous, and when Hardin's girlfriend was arrested for carrying a gun in the area, Hardin lost his temper and had threatened the officer for bothering his weapon. This was the end of this well-known Western outlaw. Throughout John Wesley Hardin's rebellious life, his wife and children remained loyal to him. An unfortunate string of events and confrontations that ended badly and a rebellious childhood led him to take on the lifestyle he did. Although Hardin was known as a ruthless outlaw, his grandson used to carry a pistol owned by his grandfather with him everywhere, for he was either proud or he liked to show off this family connection. Today, he lies right here in our very own town of El Paso. His final resting place is at Concordia Cemetery on the east side of town. His grave is fenced off, unlike those of the rest of the people lying here, and on his nameplate are the initials JWH, with 2 models of guns, one on each side to represent the fact that he was a gunslinger and outlaw. Hardin's gravestone states that he was named for the founder of Methodism. According to the text on his gravestone, Wesley was an unusual sort of gunslinger, for he considered himself a pillar of society who only killed for self-defense. It also says that he was claimed to have killed 30 men, but this is not a sure amount. To this day, the exact number of men killed by John Wesley Hardin is not known, but what we do know is that he has earned a name and reputation, though not a good one, in our state's recent history.